Hey everybody, this is Sree from BizBuzz. What matters the most in your business? Sponsored by My Work Belt. My Work Belt is a business operating system that helps you streamline your business and particularly focused on service-based small businesses. If you are one of the small businesses that are offering different services, you may want to check it out. And Today I have a guest, Craig Andrews. Craig Andrews is a principal ally at alliesforme.com. They are the masters of marketing. Craig, how are you doing?
Sree, I'm doing wonderfully. Always a joy to talk with you.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. And it's been many, many episodes that we are doing. And those who are watching the episodes, you might be familiar with my dialogue with Craig as well. So, Craig, today I wanted to ask you the marketing, as you are a marketing guru, and as uh, any element of the business, it has a certain rules, what do's and what don'ts, right? And it also has certain rules. And what I heard is five marketing rules that are, if you follow them, that you can lead into a good campaigns and successful outcomes that you are looking for, right? What do you think of those five rules are, if I may ask you?
Yeah, so let's go through them. The
Mhm.
first rule is the goal isn't to sell a product, it's to solve a problem. And, I see this all the time. People start talking about their service or product,
Right.
and you could say your service is a product. But they're talking about this. And so maybe an MSP is like, oh, we're going to have this triple redundancy and we're going to have all this. And they put out a bunch of jargon and they talk about how, technology is superior. And that's not solving a problem. The message is actually really simple for like MSPs. We're going to make sure your team, when they fire up their computer, it works.
True.
If if you get hacked, we're going to have you back to work in an hour or in 2 hours. You know, we're going to make sure that you know, we're here to make sure that your computers are
Problems are
working
solved.
all the time. So your team is doing the things that you do best so you can make a lot of money. So they don't care. I mean, maybe there's somebody in the company, an extremely boring person who cares, whether you're going to have triple redundancy, how you're going to stage the backups. Um, they remind me of somebody guy named Bengt Staganoff. He's a Swede. I called him Beef Stroganoff, and he's without a doubt the most boring man alive. And who talks about processes. Okay, most people aren't like Beef Stroganoff. They just want to know, am I going to be able to work? Are my employees going to be able to work?
Right.
Can we focus on the things we do best without having to worry about our computers? So that's the first rule, and it's such a common one. Quit talking about your product or service. Start talking about it. So, like in my
Problem
work,
that you're solving.
yeah, and it's hard. I mean, so I'm a marketer, and I know this, and yet it's easy for me to start talking about, hey, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to do it because it excites me. Um, you
In
know,
many of the cases, people don't even know how to define the problem that they are solving. Although they are great service provider, they may have a great product, but they may not know how to define the problem that they are solving.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
and
where the marketing goes like you come in picture and you can turn the language into define the problem for the service providers or for the customers.
right, exactly. And for
What's the
me,
second rule?
yeah, so the second rule is the best way to sell is to understand what they are already trying to buy. And this is a huge mistake that I see so often where people are like, and I don't know what the MSP equivalent would be, but so here's an example. I'll use the example of my very, very first time offer. um, which was a horrible, horrible failure. And the offer was, I'm going to run eye tracking analysis on your website and give you a complete report for $7. And nobody bought it. Absolutely nobody bought it because nobody knows why they care. And for me, I was like, guys, you can't communicate with people until you understand what parts of your website they're looking at, and they may be looking at the wrong parts. That's me knowing that they have a problem that they're unaware of. And I was trying to sell to a pain I know they had, but they
They
don't know
don't
they.
know. They don't. Yes, that's the definition of problem critical. That you when they know, oh, aha, this is my problem, and not only that they love you, but they look at you as a master because you know what their problems is.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem they worried about was we want more leads. We want our website to generate more leads. And I'm
That's true.
talking about eye tracking. They have no idea. That's not what they're trying to buy. It's what they need. I know that. They don't know that. And nobody bought it. Absolutely nobody bought it. So that's the
Now,
second rule. The
what's the third
third rule,
rule?
a great offer doesn't just attract, it removes hesitation.
Okay.
And that's where it gets really, really interesting because, at some level, I'm sure you've had this where you needed something, you find it on Amazon and it's $5.
Mhm.
And you think, okay, even if I buy it and it's the wrong thing, if I'm out $5, I'm out $5. But Amazon took it a step further. So here's something I bought. It's not $5, it's $100. I'm doing some painting in my house, and it's a little device that I put on the paint, and it's supposed to tell me exactly what color that is so I can go to Home Depot and get it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I spent $100 on it and it doesn't work. Well, because I bought it from Amazon, part of their offer is, hey, if you get it and you don't like it, just return it. We'll take it back. And so that
Basically,
removes,
remove the hesitation that you don't know before you buy it whether it's going to work or not. Now you are comfortable. If it doesn't work, I can return it,
right.
and I have a problem with
Now, in my world, where we're working with people that have high ticket services, they have tons of hesitation. And the way that most people try to sell in that space is they say, "Hey, Sree, I'm going to change your world. Your business is going to skyrocket. All I need you to do is pay me $30,000 up front and $5,000 to $10,000 a month, and great things are going to happen." Well, your response is going to be hesitation. So instead, we do a first time offer that's priced stupidly cheap that actually gets them, it removes all the hesitation, gets them working on the problem, and then it ties into some other cognitive biases that once you create that momentum, they want to keep working on it. It gives you a chance to take out some of that fear. And so, another word that I would use for it, and this isn't my word, this is actually one of my somewhat nearby neighbors who wrote a book called Friction. And and if you look at what Amazon did, Amazon ruthlessly went through the entire sales process and removed friction. They were the ones that came up with one-click buying, which I think the patent expired on that finally. But the one click, because people can click two or three times, but that's friction. So that's the third rule. The fourth rule is you don't need a bigger budget, you need a better message.
it. Can't agree enough.
So I'm not going to say his name or his company and get you in a lawsuit on your podcast. But
Uh,
there is there is a national financial advisor. I'm sure you've seen his ads. He spends $100 million a year running ads, and he's like, "We're different. We're different than most financial advisors. We're fiduciaries. Okay. First problem is we're different. Nah, there's 450,000 financial advisors in the United States,
Indeed.
and they all sell basically the same service
Mm.
using basically the same tools.
Mm.
And I agree that there are differences in the way each one of them works. But the analogy that I like to draw is imagine you're walking down Main Street and you see three stores that sell vacuum cleaners, and you need a vacuum cleaner. Well,
Mm.
you're probably not going to go into each of the three stores. You're probably going to go into one, maybe two stores because they're all selling basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing. Yeah, correct.
And so your messaging has to make sure they get off the street and come into your store versus one of the other stores that's selling the same thing.
That is true.
And so I believe in the case of this person that I'm talking about. So the first problem I said, no, you're not different. The second problem is he's using jargon. We're a fiduciary. Most folks don't know what a fiduciary is. And even if they did, the SEC chairman has said, he's on record saying the term fiduciary for financial advisors is a meaningless term because the definition is so broad, anything can slip through. And so where this fellow spends 30 or $100 million a year in marketing and he gets results, which if you spend 100 million a year, you should get results. I think he could get similar or better results with 30 million with a better message.
Messaging.
So that's the thing. You don't need a bigger budget, you need a better message.
When it comes to the small businesses, it's definitely resonates with that. Smaller budget, better message is what they wanted because they don't have deeper pockets of spending $100 million on marketing budget.
And
And that is where the importance and critical element is the messaging.
and in rare examples, the big companies don't necessarily have a better their message isn't proportionate to their budget. You
Correct.
know, a lot of these big companies just have horrible messaging. And I'll tell you who's, I don't know if you've seen an Apple ad lately, but the latest Apple ads are horrible. Um, I think Steve Jobs believed in reincarnation, and I would hate to be Tim Cook because whatever Steve Jobs reincarnated as would be coming after Tim Cook saying, "What have you done to my company?" These ads are horrible.
So, what is the next rule?
So the next rule is the key to loyalty isn't discounts, it's delivering on promises. Okay. Here's the thing that I think most people miss. You train your customers and your clients on how to treat you. So for years, J.C. Penney ran discounts and they hired a new CEO that came from Apple retail who said, "Hey, we're going to turn this around and we're going to get rid of all the discounts." Well, unfortunately, they had customers had so come to become used to the discounts at J.C. Penney that he ended up ruining J.C. Penney. But you think about the difference. I mean, Apple is, one of the richest companies in the world. I think top one, top two, richest companies in the world. And the way they got there was not by offering discounts. If you,
By offering the right product and the product that pleases the customer's needs and pleases the customer's desires,
yeah.
not by offering the discounts.
Well, and here's something that's really interesting that a lot of people don't know. The original Macintosh, Steve Jobs refused to put a cooling fan into the original Macintosh. And because he didn't like the experience that created, he didn't want the PC
The
sitting there
noise.
buzzing. And so it burned out the processors. He was happy to replace people's computers so that they didn't have to put up with the annoyance of the
The
fan.
noise. Yeah.
And and so, one of the promises that Steve Jobs made to Apple customers is we're going to build you a beautiful machine that has an exceptional experience. And people pay paid a premium for that. And
Even
so,
today, even today, people pay a premium price for any Apple products. They never expected any discount from Apple.
yeah. And I have a presentation that I go through that shows multiple studies, and the studies are conclusive. Price is not the primary motivator in a purchase decision. There's a lot of things that are more important than price.
So we should not be worried about the price. What next rule?
Well, that's the last rule.
So
But
the
here's the thing. When you use discounts to activate customers, you're making a transactional customer. That's what J.C. Penney did. You want relational customers. Relational customers are the most profitable customers. And the
or
relation,
long-term customers.
yes. So if you train your customers to be transactional, you're going to be forever stuck on that treadmill
Right.
with limited profit potential.
Yeah, that's I can clearly give you that an example from my own family in that context before we conclude this. Matter of fact, a lot of my friends they are fan of Kohl's. I don't know if Kohl's is around there in South. Kohl's is the big stores here in Michigan,
Hmm.
departmental stores. They have offers all the time. If you don't go to the Kohl's store a month, sure enough, you get a 30% discount offer. Most of my friends they wait for the 30% discount offer. They don't go Kohl's right away because they know if they don't go for a month, they're going to get a 30% discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
Customer can always wait. Kohl's cannot wait for the customer not to come. If they stop the 30% discount coupons, half of my friends don't go to Kohl's.
Yeah.
Period. Because they know that product that they're selling at the price is not worth. That's how Kohl's trained their customers. Now that's a vicious cycle. They
Yep.
can't stop that. And there is a lot of scams went on with the coupons, but still they can't stop it. So thank you very much for joining me today. And those 5 rules are immensely valuable if anybody is looking into putting some budget for marketing and before you go start marketing campaigns.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Sree, as always, this has been delightful.
Thank you very much, Craig.